Welcome to The Daily Grind, a Bluff City Media daily podcast. Stepping up to the microphone is your host, Luke Hatmaker. Grab your favorite morning brew and let's get to the show. Well, we did have Luke on. Hey, there he is.
Man, shoot, welcome to the Daily Grind. I was like, who kicked me out? Who kicked me out? I don't know what happened. I was so upset. I had a song ready, and I thought one of you sons of bitches kicked me out. And I was like, that's rude as hell. Oh, my God. Welcome to the Daily Grind. I am your host, Luke Hatmaker. How we doing, fellas? I got Kenny, but I got the real reason. For the first time on this show ever, you were just going to just slide out.
Yeah.
We got
I'm not even in this show.
The man, the myth, the legend, Brevin Knight. How are you, my friend?
Man, Luke, I'm happy to finally get an opportunity to be on. I got a little nervous there when you weren't there. I said, well, I came on to be on here and kick it with Luke a little bit. And Luke's going. I think his Wi-Fi must be like Fish's Wi-Fi. And he's upstairs and it's trying to go through the door.
I swear I touched my mouse. I'm not even going to use my mouse the rest of the show because I touched it and I got kicked out. Now I'm worried. So I'm just going to have my hands in frame. How you doing, Kenny? I mean, I know. Are you doing okay?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm just glad to have Brevin on here. I'm glad to do the Daily Grind. We missed you on Friday, man. I know you had to be super dad on Friday, but last minute emergencies, man. But hey, family comes first, baby. But hey, we're going straight into the NBA Finals. This is Game 7, man. How
you
exciting.
Jumped the gun though, man. We got to talk about KD first.
Oh, let's do that first. Yeah,
I was about to say, though, you can't skip we talked about the routine and you just go. We had the rundown.
Yeah, we had it right before we hopped in.
I get nervous. I get nervous sometimes, man. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what's going on here.
I was like, this was your idea, Kenny. You wanted to talk about KD first. You wanted to do this.
You're right.
Well, yeah, Kevin Durant got traded to Houston this afternoon. I think we were all just kind of waiting for it to happen. Today was waiting for him to get traded. I guess we might not have knew it was going to be Houston, but we knew it was down to a handful of teams. I think we were just waiting for the other shoe to drop because the season's over today. Officially, the season, it's over after today. So we were waiting for it. Did this surprise you, Brevin? Or were you expecting this?
Well, I think the biggest thing that was a surprise was how much Houston gave up.
Yes.
To get Kevin Durant. Now, if this was 3-4 years ago, maybe I'm of the same mindset to do that. But they gave up, you think about it, they gave up on one of our brightest young players in the game in Jalen Green.
Mm-hmm.
You get rid of your defensive toughness. And I know that they still have the Thompson twins. I don't know if it was Asar, whichever one. They still have one of the Thompson twins there to be able to be a defensive-minded player. But I don't know if he can bring the same level of physicality that Dylan brought to the basketball game. And so, and then you give up the number 10 pick for this year, and then another number 1 pick at some other point and a bunch of second-round picks. I just felt like they gave up a lot for a guy who and I'm guessing that you have to feel like in the next 2 years that you can truly compete for a championship because, beyond that, there's no return on your investment, I think, with the Kevin Durant, but no slight. It was huge move by them, and it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Well, they got the better Thompson twin over there at Houston. Amen is amazing. Like he's going to a physicality. He's got a level of physicality and his athleticism. I said this during the season. The basketball gods did us a favor when they split the. I'm a twin, so I don't know exactly what it's like. But if they had one level of athleticism between Asar and Amen and one kid, like that's crazy because both of those dudes are ridiculous, right?
Yeah. Yes,
ridiculously athletic. My big thing on it, Brevin, is that Houston didn't have to give up much of their I guess younger pieces, right? Like even though Jalen Green is one of those guys, he's been around for a little bit. If you talk to a lot of Houston people during the season, they were not all there. I think Jalen Green's inconsistency caused them a lot of problems throughout the year.
Yes.
We weren't a fan of that, but they get rid of Jalen. He's kind of the centerpiece for them. obviously Dillon Brooks, we know what he does. We've seen it for years with the Grizzlies, but bringing back a Kevin Durant, now he's the guy, right? Like he's the guy again in Houston with Alperen Sengun, with what's the kid's name? The Reed kid, Reed Shepherd. Kentucky, they didn't have to lose him. They didn't lose Cam Whitmore. They got Tari Eason still out there. They've got a lot of guys on that team that can still play. And all they got back was just, a few draft picks, and Phoenix got back Jalen Green and Dillon Brooks. This didn't seem to be a whole lot.
Right. So this to me means that then you're still putting a lot on Fred VanVleet to be the guy that makes everything go. Now,
it's true.
And I don't have an issue with that because I am a huge Fred VanVleet fan.
Yes.
I love what he's been able to do from Wichita State, what he was doing there, and throughout his time in the league. Everybody's going to talk about he's undersized, not athletic, not this, not that, but he just goes out and kicks ass every time he's out on the floor. So they are void. All of the names that you just said, not one of those guys, you can put Jabari Smith in that also. Not one of those guys makes the next guy better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no matter how much they have assumed in terms of, yes, there's talent there for that team. I think the thing that they're going to have to now still focus on is, well, who is going to be the guy to also make the next guy better? Because if not, then you're just going to have a one-on-one show going on for them, which they can be good at it. They can be fine at it. But I think that may be the next area that they pay a little bit of attention to.
I mean, we could break this whole trade down because I mean, you look at Phoenix's roster now, and how many shooting guards do they have now? Yeah. They've got Devin Booker, Grayson Allen, Jalen Green. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, that draft pick that we got from them
still there. Yeah,
that draft pick we got from them is going to look really, really nice.
Okay, look at the money that they spend. I just saw that between 3 players now on Phoenix's team, they take up 90% of their cap. I mean,
so much money.
You put yourself back in the same money position without Kevin Durant. I mean,
when you say it like that, it sounds insane, BK. It sounds insane when you say it like that.
You pretty much did. They did. So you must think that Jalen Green and Dillon Brooks are good enough to get it done. I mean, outside of that, you can't. I don't know. I don't really know at the end of the day what Phoenix can do because, I mean, he had to trade Kevin Durant because he was the tradable piece. You just stuck with Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
Like, I think if you would have said, if they could have, both of them were equal in terms of who could go, I think they would have they would have been happier to say, we're moving Bradley Beal and keeping Kevin Durant.
Yeah. I'd shoot Bradley Beal. That's a whole nother, we could talk about. That man's getting paid so much money to sit at home. But I digress. Let's talk about the finals, y'all, because we got the best 2 words in sports happening tonight. Game 7.
Game 7.
Game 7. And this game, I feel like to not really have a dog in the fight in any team that's playing tonight, I feel super giddy about this finals because I have fallen in love with this Pacers team this postseason. I love the way they play. I love Rick Carlisle. I think he might. I look at him and just like a little kid looking at a superhero when it comes to his superpower is head coaching. I think what he has done is amazing this postseason, and I just am so excited for tonight. I think we've had an incredible finals. I hate that we may have to wake up tomorrow and hear this nonsense about how were the ratings low because I don't care. I think the hoops that we have seen has been some of the best in recent memory. I mean, when was the last time we've had a Game 7? Was it 2016?
It's been a while.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the problem with that, with the ratings being low, is more of an NBA problem than anything else. And people are like, oh yeah, because the players are no. I say it's an NBA problem because I don't think they have done over the years, for a lot of years, a good enough job of exposing all of the players in the league, all of the teams in the league. Because I always say, if you do that, then your margin for error becomes larger. Like now, if one person gets in trouble or if a team doesn't do well, we got 29 other teams.
Yeah.
We got 100 other players, or no, I wouldn't say that because that's different. We got 30 other players that we have talked about who are doing things that are positive to help you in those situations. So I think that the league in general has to do a better job of exposing forget the market, what these teams and other players are doing, because I think you hit it on the head, Luke. We've had some fantastic basketball being played by these two basketball teams, by a lot of players who people's names they didn't know. But the good thing about it is at least we are also talking about how good these teams are.
Yes.
Because the days of just putting together 3 people and thinking you're going to win is over. The days of thinking that you can win with just 5 or 6 guys is over. You need to put together an entire team to give yourself a chance to win, to be as versatile as you can be. And that's what these two organizations, to me, have shown.
Yeah. Do you think that we had this conversation on the Anthony Sain show on Friday, and I wanted to ask you about it too, because you've been, I mean, you're a OG of the league. You've been in the league forever. You've been around the league since you were for a long time.
Since I didn't have grace.
Right.
And I had hair.
And you had hair. And you had hair.
Both.
Do you think that this finals, the way that it's being played, the level of talent that's out there, the way that these teams have been constructed, do you see that it kind of creating a ripple effect for the next 5-10 years down the line for how the NBA, how teams and franchises are run?
Yeah, I think all of these things are cyclical, because if you think back in the day, you talk about the greatness of the teams of the past. You talk about the Lakers or the Celtics, 76ers, the Knicks teams. I mean, the list goes on and on. You just talk about those teams and organizations. And then we went through the phase of find you a big 3, and you got to do that. And that's how you're going to amass the best players in the league, and that's how you're going to win. Well, I think it has now gotten back to being able to support your stars as best as possible, but still having enough other guys who are capable on your team to give you a chance to win. And so hopefully we continue to move towards that, because at the end of the day, those teams that were successful this year, as we see these two, were teams that had depth. Of course, it's 2 teams that also had a level of health throughout the season, but they've had unselfish stars who were still able to be stars, but allow other people to have success too. And I think that mantra will continue. You talk about this Grizzlies team. At the end of the day, we're talking about they're so good because of the depth that they can play with. Whether it allowed them to be number 2 in the West for those seasons in back-to-back times. It allowed them to stay afloat when things weren't going well. And so I think it's definitely something that we're going to see more and more as the NBA moves forward.
Well, Luke, I need to tell you something. I'm going to bring something that's been behind the scenes since the beginning of this finals. I'm going to bring you something behind the scenes that, so I have the privilege and the honor of being able to film the Night Court podcast, which comes out depending on when Brevin's in town and when he's available, what time his tee times are, anything like that. It either comes out on Tuesday or Wednesday, right? Or sometimes on Thursday. Sometimes on Thursday. It just depends.
Hey, Luke, I try to show. They know it's summertime. The summertime is a little tricky in the summertime.
Summertime, we have a very set schedule during the season. But when it's summertime, it's hey Brev, when's your next when's your tea time, bro? Like, what's going on? But we have this group chat between me and BK and Rob, and it's what's so funny, man, is that, and Brevin's been really nice about it during this finals. He's been like not really throwing it in mine and Rob's face too much. But this mug almost cussed. This mug has been like this mug has been right about everything with this finals. And I'm talking like me and Rob have been pressing him. Like, no, bro, like it's not how we see it. This is how it's gonna go. Luke, he has been right every single game, every single trend, everything that's happened in this finals. And so Rob, so Brevin, I wanted to ask you, as the guy who's been right about everything this finals, how have we gotten here to game 7? Like, what is, because let's be real about it. OKC is historically, this regular season is going to go down as historically one of the best teams we've ever seen, right? Like that we've ever seen. But Indiana has come in and I think have played that underdog role to to its highest level.
Mm-hmm.
But how have we gotten here to Game 7 where Indiana has an opportunity to spring this crazy upset against this historically awesome team in OKC? How have we gotten here?
Well, it's the thing that we talked about at the beginning of the series, why I felt like Indiana had a chance is the reason why Luke said he is looking with stars in his eyes, and it's because of Rick Carlisle.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was the one part of the game that you can't quantify.
Yeah,
there's no stat for it. Yeah, we know what his track record is. We know, but what you don't know is when he has been in those situations enough times, been around basketball enough times at high stakes to know what it's like to have to make a on the spot decision. And I thought that he was going to be a deciding factor for this Pacers team. And that's exactly what he has been for them. And the way that he is pushed the buttons of who goes in at what time, the plays that they have run, the ability to have his team play the exact same way as they played all season in high stress situations. So I think that first and foremost, he's a big reason of why they've been able to do it. The other reason is they haven't given up the points off turnovers.
That's right.
Yes.
That is a hallmark for Oklahoma City. And what it is demoralizing because it gets them juice, it gets them going, whether it be a dunk, easy shot, a three, and not just the guys on the floor, but it's also the guys that are on the bench, how hyped they get from it. And so it's a banger to the opponent because they're trying to take your spirit away with how well they can play defensively. And I said the thing for Indiana that made this a different series was the amount of people who handled the basketball. You can't just key on one or two people or three people and say, all right, let's try to shut them down. Oklahoma City has a lot of defenders. They don't have enough of those defenders.
Wow.
And so with the pace and speed at which Indiana plays, you can't just key on one or two guys and say, all right, we want to slow them down. Just move up the floor and take away this guy.
Can't do it.
Well, you can't do it because they just throw it to that guy or they throw it to the next guy. And so I think the not allowing the second chance points, the being able to play at the pace, and they've been able to have one of their other guys step up every game. And so they're gonna need that same mentality of having guys step up. And I say this is one name and one person who I would say would have to be better, who will give them the best chance to win tonight. If Miles Turner can look like the Miles Turner that we know he can be, which is a guy who can dominate defensively in terms of altering shots, rebounding the basketball, but on the offensive end, being able to step away and shoot threes that extends the defense further, or a guy who now posts up smaller guys. And the issue he's having a little bit is almost like Zach Edey. When he gets the smaller guy and they throw the ball inside, too quickly does he bring the ball down. Instead of just catching it, they throw it high, keep it high, and go finish.
Yeah.
If you bring the ball down, chest, weight, anywhere around there, you allow this team with great hands to now be enforced. But if he just keeps it high, then it gives him a chance to score. And then the last thing was I thought they had enough size to cause Oklahoma City problem because Oklahoma City is a small basketball team. After you get beyond the two bigs with Hartenstein and Holmgren, they become small. When Jalen Williams gives you size, but after that, and I thought the Indiana size that came off of the bench for them was going to be a difference, and that's what it's been. So it'll be an exciting Game 7, and I think one it'll get to 5 minutes to go in the game, and they'll be talking about we're in clutch territory again because it's that type game.
You know, since you've been right about everything, Brevin, since you've been right, I've got three. I need to ask you some questions, and you kind of just answered one. I want to ask, and Kenny, you can answer these two. Is Miles Turner going to be the biggest X factor in tonight's game? Who do you think is? Because I've been coming on here after every single game and been like, I'm waiting for the Miles Turner game where he makes 7 of those threes from the top of the key. I'm waiting for it. And it's just, is that going to happen tonight? Is it going to be someone like Nembhard that goes off for like 7 of 8 from beyond the arc? I don't know. I hope it's a pacer.
Before Brevin answers this question, I'm going to let you know. Yeah. I'm just going to copy what he says.
Okay,
I'm just going to go ahead. So yeah, I'll answer the question. Brevin, you go first, then I'll go. Here we go. Here we go.
I think I just told you for me who my biggest X factor is. I think in order for Indiana to win, I expect Siakam to be Siakam, and who he has been all world for them the entire time. And if they pull it out, he's the MVP again. He was the MVP of the Eastern Conference. He'll be the MVP of these finals. But I think they're going to really need a big Miles Turner game in order to get them over the top. Oklahoma City, I think, is going to be fine. Their role guys will be as we expect them to be because they'll be at home. It'll give them that extra boost. Their starters are who they are, but if Miles could have a Miles Turner game, then shoot, man, we can see the Indiana Pacers celebrating their first NBA championship.
Man, you kind of answered the other question I was going to ask you. Do you think Siakam's going to win the Finals MVP? Well, let me say, if the Pacers win, do you see Siakam winning?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's the
most consistent player. Listen, Halliburton made the big shot in game one.
Yeah.
Outside of that, it was Mathurin had a breakout game for them to win the other game in Indiana. But it has just been every night you turn it on, you can count on Pascal Siakam stepping up. And that's big for him, man, because he was, people we don't talk about it enough, but he's the championship player that's on their team.
Yeah, he is.
He's the champion. He's the guy that won it, and a guy who played a role in Toronto winning their championship. And so he's showing what championship experience does for you, because he doesn't look like he's out of place. It doesn't look like the moment is too big for him at all.
No. So, but you got to be honest, though. There's a part of you as a former backup point guard in the NBA, maybe a little undersized, but just a dog everywhere else. You got to be at least hoping TJ gets a few votes, right? If Indiana wins, TJ deserves a few votes, right?
He deserves a lot of credit for them winning.
Right.
He won't deserve he don't vote for no damn
MVP. Can you imagine
of the finals. No. Now, with that being said, they wouldn't be in game 7 without what he has done for this team and the way that he forces the issue. And I say he's like Alvarado in New Orleans. There's another those guys that when they come into the game and as guards, they live in the paint. Yeah. And it's not just to score, but it's damn, every time down the floor,
every time
they're in the paint again, and they're making a play, whether it's for themselves or for a teammate. And the biggest thing I think for TJ is he's also made threes in these finals. When they've tried to go under or they don't close out all the way to him. And so I think he has been fantastic. And another one of those guys that they wouldn't be here if he didn't do it. But again, this was the reason why when we had to talk before the finals started, I said it was going to be a battle. I said it was definitely going to be 6, but I am leaning towards 7. And everybody's like, you got to be kidding me. There's no way they're going to 7 games. And I said it was because how good the all around for the Pacers are in terms of their team. And again, that man sitting at the bench, at the head of the bench, running it all is out of this world.
Yep.
We talked about the one person in this series that has had championship experience is Pascal Siakam for the Indiana Pacers, which then kind of takes me then to the Oklahoma City Thunder and say we are writing the obituary for Oklahoma City because we want to see Indiana win. I want to see Indiana win this series. But they have, they're 8-point favorites in game 7. They are still favored to win this series. They are a very, very good team.
It's going to be so loud.
Do you think, though, that, and Edward asked this in the comments, he says, do you think the youth of OKC will cause them to be a little tense right now? Is that what we saw in game 6? And could we see that in 2 minutes in Game 7, right? Like, is this what we're going to see? Could they be a little bit tense?
No, I don't. I think, and why is because you haven't seen them change their demeanor at all. There hasn't been a I haven't gotten a sense of nervousness from them. I haven't gotten a sense that the moment is too big for them. If anything, to me, the nervousness was when they changed the lineup before they even played the game. To me, that was nerves.
Yep.
Yeah.
That and I felt like, if anything, that was going to affect this series more than anything else, was because you made an adjustment before you ever played a game against a team that you only played twice during the regular season. It wasn't as if you played them enough to be like, oh, hold on, they was really hurting
know this
us
doesn't work.
Way. Yeah, so we want to do something different. And so I think that we talked about Indiana so much, but I still think OKC is going to win the game. And
I was going to ask who's going to win.
Yeah,
you've been right. Who's winning?
I got OKC still winning the basketball game, and them winning because whether it is Cason Wallace making big shots, whether it is you know, I'm the worst with names, number 21 for them that comes off of the bench,
Wiggins.
Yes. Whether it's him making big shots, whether it's Kendrick Williams coming in and just making enough plays that alter the game. Like I think they're going to have those guys be able to change the game along with Caruso, and then their starters will be. I think we're going to see another really good Jalen Williams game. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I just think Oklahoma City is the better team, and that's why you want home court. And so when you get to this Game 7, you're able to play at home, and they've been dominant at home the entire playoffs.
Home court advantage went from not mattering at all to I feel like mattering like crazy in this series. It's been insane because I never, both these places, the Fieldhouse and OKC, you can feel that crowd through the TV screen. It's insane. You say OKC, I'm going to be contrarian. I think Indiana's winning tonight.
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
I've learned my lesson.
Like, go for it, Luke. Go for it. I'm not doing it.
I got OKC by 40, apparently, according to Brevin. The way Brevin's talking, yeah.
Damn it.
Whatever. Wait, Brevin, is it 40 or is it closer? You said fourth quarter.
No. I told you fourth quarter. We're gonna get to 5 minutes. They're gonna say another clutch moment. Who's gonna come out big?
I'll just say this: if it goes into the fourth quarter and it's close, Brevin, I'm going to call you and I'm going to switch my pick to Indiana. Because they just, how do you quantify you talked about quantifying things, right? Like, how do you quantify Rick Carlisle? How do you can't, like, that's something that you can't, like, he shoots 33% from the, whatever. How do you quantify their guts and their heart to, like, stick around and, like, in those, like, clutch moments be able to be there and win games the way they have this whole playoff?
Oh, I think it's I think the difference is just the opponent in which they're playing. I think that is where the difference comes in, and this is a game that will be on their home court, something that that SGA I think just will not allow to happen in this scenario, because we know we talk about all of the up and coming players, faces of the game. And there's no reason why his face shouldn't be one of those that we talk about because he's that good.
I think that's the first time we've said his name this entire show, and that's not fair to him because he's incredible.
Well, know why? Because he's the given. See, we got you at this point. That's why I said all of the other people that are around are just around. But he's the constant.
Yeah,
he's the one that you don't worry about.
You don't worry about him at all. Nope. Absolutely. Well, we got one last thing. A lot of people ask Brevin questions here in the comment section.
Hurry up because all these people coming over to watch the game.
Yeah, we got to go. Will you sign a rookie card he got when you were a rookie? Will you sign his? He has a rookie card, a Brevin Knight rookie card. He needs you to sign it.
You know me. You know I don't turn down signing anything unless someone thinks they get slick and try to just send it to my house. I tell everybody, don't ever send any. Don't try to be slick and just send it to my house. Those don't ever get signed.
I just think it's weird. I just think it's weird people can find your address.
Yeah, can people do that?
Man, I hope not. I hope against it more than anything.
King Meeks, if you see Brevin out, he will sign your.
Yeah, he come to a game, anything. I'm all in.
Hell Absolutely. Yeah. Oh my God, Brevin, thank you for hopping on the show today. Kenny, that's gonna do it for the show, y'all. Man, thank you guys.
Game time, baby. Let's go.
Game time. Let's go. Watch
Game 7,
man.
Game 7. We're gonna be back
thanks
tomorrow.
For having me on.
No, Brevin, thank you.
I've been waiting, man. I've been waiting for all this time to get an opportunity to be on. You finally put me on.
I'll bring you back on. We'll get Kenny out of here. It'll just be you and me. We'll shoot the SHIT. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we can talk, because I also like to be able to talk like that. I don't like always having to not talk the way I would like we on TV. Yeah. We get into this space, and I want to just be me. I love being me is cursing is involved.
Good. Yes.
Y'all check out the Night Court. It's fun. It's a fun show. Y'all check out the Night Court. Especially when it's Night Court after dark, baby.
Yeah. And we had the after dark that was definitely
went off the rails a little bit.
After dark. I love that. Y'all be good today. Enjoy game 7. Be good. We will be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow. Y'all ain't gonna be back. If I can leave you with anything today, remember these 2 things, y'all. Remember to be a little weird, just a little bit, not a lot of bit, a little bit, and remember to smile. Bye, guys. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.